Penguin Random House presents Brands and the Brain. How to use neuroscience to create impactful brands. By Arvind Sahay. Read by Denzil. To Kavya and Shabnam. Babu Log, it took a while, but it got done. And all the participants of my neuroscience and consumer behavior and neuroscience and marketing sessions, whose feedback and enthusiasm helped me to refine the ideas. Chapter 1. Introduction. On 5th June 2015, Maggi, a popular brand of instant noodles consumed as a snack and as a meal in India, was almost simultaneously withdrawn from the market and banned by the government from being sold. The reason? Laboratory tests conducted at a government laboratory had shown that the lead content in the noodles had surpassed the permissible level of 2.5 ppm by a whopping 15. Overnight, a 75% market share brand disappeared from the market. Competitors like Yippee and Top Ramen rushed to fill the 38,000-ton void on the shelves of 3.8 million stores, from which the Bombay High Court had asked Maggi to recall its products. However, they failed to fill the void in the market, which consisted of the millions of bachelors, college students, moms, kids, and young professionals, most of whom continued to scan the shelves for their beloved Maggi. And in that desperation, some sought the black market, where the ₹10 pack of Maggi was selling at a price of ₹102. Many took to Facebook and Twitter to post Maggi stories from their childhoods and lament not being able to enjoy their evening cup of tea without the hot slurpy snack. This turmoil had been brewing for about 14 months when the authorities in the state of Uttar Pradesh informed Nestle India that there was more than the permitted level of lead in Maggi, and that MSG had been detected in a sample of Maggi noodles that carried a no added MSG claim on the pack. After the ban, customers started posting their reactions online. These included messages such as, "We miss you, Maggi," and "Come back, man." And then, Maggi released the #WeMissYouToo ad campaign, the brainchild of its branding team. Maggi's "I miss you, yaar" and "Come back, man" dialogued 48-second commercials went viral. The characters, mostly bachelors, related their longing for Maggi, a commodity that was their evening snack and their midnight respite, and how without it they were being forced to change their lifestyle. According to Mindshift Metrics, a digital agency that maps reach and trends on social media, the #WeMissYouToo hashtag received 5 million impressions. The advertisements had more than 1 million views on YouTube. Despite having been off the shelves for 5 months, Maggi was able to build back its market share. Within 6 months, it had a 35% market share, and in 2 years, it had a 60% share of what was now a slightly larger market. Hardly a small feat for a product blamed for harming the body. While much of its resurgence could be owed to its brilliantly planned contingency advertising campaigns, could just any company have made this possible armed with an emotion-triggering ad plan for the duration of its product's ban? And without a brand that was already deeply embedded in the minds of its customers? Probably not. But brand Maggi came back, stronger. Tens of millions of Indians are back with Maggi. By early 2020, 4 years after the ban and relaunch, it's almost as if Maggi never left. A powerful brand to begin with, and a carefully crafted branding and communication strategy during the ban and after the relaunch turned things around. It gave emotional branding a new meaning, a new direction. 7 years down the line, in March 2022, Maggi may not have the monopoly of yesteryears, but it still commands over 60% of the instant noodle market in India. And COVID-19 just gave it a boost. This brings me to the subject of the book, branding, the act of promoting a product or a company in the minds of customers. The book is also about how our brains evaluate a brand, choose one, and relate to it. sometimes so strongly that in the presence of the brand, the emotional centers of the brain become more active and the reasoning and logical areas become less, so in a way that the brand becomes a loved brand, anthropomorphic in nature, and an integral part of the lives of its customers. Our goal in this book is to connect brands to the key aspects of the brain's functioning and to use that understanding to develop better brand-related interventions. To do this, we will also endeavor to understand the functioning of the brain, how it works, and how it takes decisions. It is intended for all those who are interested in understanding branding at the level of brain operations and in using the understanding to design and implement appropriate brand-related actions. It's fair to state that from the moment we wake up to the moment we fall asleep, we interact with hundreds of brands, whether we realize it or not. We make decisions about brands almost every other hour during the course of a normal day. From the second we turn on our phones in the morning, check Instagram, WhatsApp, and Facebook notifications, and pick an app to hail a taxi to get to work, to the very place we choose to work at, everything is all about brands. We are constantly making choices between the brands we associate ourselves with, consciously or unconsciously. Right from very early on, why we pick one school over another for our kids, the locality we choose to buy an apartment in, the kind of car we drive, the clothes we wear, the movies or television shows we watch, the celebrities we adore, the political parties we support, the places we eat at, the kind of spouse we seek. All of these decisions boil down to us preferring one brand over another. But what is branding? Branding goes beyond just a logo or a graphic element. When we think about a brand, it encapsulates the sum total of an entire customer experience. Everything from the logo, the website, the product or service use experience to the social media experiences, the way the firm answers the phone, the after-sales service, the word-of-mouth impressions, and the way customers experience its employees. All of this as it exists in the mind of the customer. In short, the brand is the way a customer perceives the product and or the firm. It is the lived experience of the customer. It is critical to be aware of the customer's brand experience and have a plan to create the brand experience that the firm wants to present. After all, a good brand doesn't just happen. It is a carefully considered strategic plan, well implemented over time. Brands have to be built in the brain. Countless hours must be put in and sleepless nights spent figuring out how one wants to portray one's brand to the target customers. This brain-racking led to Nestlé's intelligent branding and Maggie's integration into the Indian human story, earning customers' trust and, finally, to putting the lead debacle behind it. Building brands build incredible value for companies and corporations, thanks to the International Financial Reporting Standards IFRS 3SS. Official direction to include the brand value of acquired assets under intangible assets in the acquiree's balance sheets. It has only become easier to translate this incredible value into monetary terms. In the $27 billion acquisition of LinkedIn by Microsoft, LinkedIn's marketing-related trade names evaluation came to just under $2.15 billion. But we don't even have to look that far. When India's Tata Motors bought Jaguar and Range Rover from Ford, it was buying the brand. Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley helped Ford sell the brands to Tata for $2.56 billion, and the brands were worth more than all other ingredients combined. Likewise, when Kraft bought Cadbury for $19.5 billion, what did they buy? The chocolate? The industrial units? The recipes? The candy makers? No, they bought the brand. So what is in a brand? Short answer, everything. Long answer, a brand is something that empowers a company enough to establish a presence in the minds of consumers. It enables recognition, which in turn familiarizes the consumer with the brand, thereby making it an easier, safer, and almost automatic choice. This familiarity translates into a biased preference towards the brand. Neurally, this happens because the ventromedial prefrontal cortex, a part in our brain engaged in decision-making, responds to this preference by associating the preferred brand with a higher reward value, which in turn directs our decision towards the said brand. Thinking about the brand, choosing the brand, talking about the brand, or using the brand leads to higher levels of certain neurotransmitters.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?